Welcome, everyone. I hope you are able to see me and hear me clearly. If possible, just drop in comments that technology is working fine. Okay, great. So we'll take just 2 minutes to just ensure that everything is working fine. So appreciate your patience. So, folks, I hope you can still hear me. I was making some adjustments. Okay, looks like everything is working fine. So thanks for joining. Appreciate it on a short notice. So this is a topic I wanted to talk for some time because this is really very critical. The topic is critical because from an timing point of view, we are living in an era which probably has more uncertainty than ever before. And all that uncertainty because of the rapid rise of the technology, especially the AI technology, which is dominating each and every area of our life. So, of course, that has impacted significantly the landscape of the jobs and the career and the businesses. So, those of you who have been using yourself the chat GPT or similar technologies, now you have a good appreciation that what level of change is coming up. I myself is spending a lot of time on AI tools, and that has significantly improved my productivity. If you look from a employee's point of view, of course, they are looking for this opportunity to use the technology to reduce their workforce or to optimize their workforce. So it becomes very critical for us to really think from a career point of view that what we need to do today. So things are not very clear, and probably it would remain a while like this. So we need to be very careful in terms of our career planning. Now, I say that often that career is your business. You have to manage your career like a business. So good time, bad time, certain time, uncertain time, you have to manage your career. You just cannot wait for the things to be clarified. Otherwise, it could be too late. So that was the background in which I wanted to talk to you regarding this career management. And so let me open my slide so I could talk with some more structure. So I hope you see my slides now. My father worked for the same company for 40 years. He started when he was 18 or 20 years old, and he retired from the same company. And it was a common practice that in those times, if you could find a good job, you basically depend on it for the rest of your life. And usually it goes pretty smoothly. And like what you are seeing in the chart, that type of growth is very common for these people, for those people at that time. So pretty smooth journey. Of course, once you get a good job in a good company, you don't have too much worry about finding another job or changing the jobs unless there is a reason for it. But today, having a 40-year tenure in one company is unimaginable. And the career looks like what you are seeing on your screen. Some people have initial setbacks, some people have late, but mostly this main part, phase three, uh, is the time period where you have most struggle, most challenges, and most professionals have a setback, some type of setbacks over there, which makes them really look back in your career and make some major changes. And experts are saying that a young professional today will is expected to make at least 12 to 15 job changes, 12 to 15 job changes over their career life cycle. PwC recently issued a report where they said that 28% of the workers are expected to make job changes in the next 12 months. And McKinsey in another report said that from between now and 2030, 75 million to 375 million workers or employees are expected to change occupations, which means they would be changing their careers. So it's pretty drastic, as I said, that we have not seen a similar situation before. So with a lot of uncertainty, we cannot still just sit idle and wait for the things to clarify. And so besides these job disruptions or the riskiness of the jobs, the work structure is also changing. So you can see in this diagram, this is from Gartner, that skills are become a lot more important than degrees and certifications. Of course, technology is making a big impact on the jobs and the skills requirement. And the structure of the job market or the emergence of the gig economy also making a significant changes. More people are going on contract jobs, self-employed, or different types of arrangements between them and the employers. So, what is career planning and what do we need to do? So, see yourself. Are you ready to give the answers to these things? What would be your next role? Do you know when or where? What is on the horizon? Do you have some job disruption or maybe a career disruption? When do you expect to retire? From what position? With what network? What is your retirement objective? Or what is your life vision? What do you want to do after you retire? So, all these questions are very relevant and pertinent for all of you, and we should have answers, but probably not everyone is really have these answers ready. So, that's one purpose of looking into the career management process, that what could we know if we have to find out answers. And I also often say this: all jobs are temporary, only your career is permanent. I learned this hard way. I hope that all of you believe this now. It could be few years, it could be even 20 years, but jobs are temporary. And that is why your focus should always be career. If you understand this thing and if you believe in these things, I think you are ready to manage your career very actively. So, career as such, what is career? Career is, of course, not job. Career is much bigger than job. If you consider jobs as trees, career is a forest. That's a difference. And career as a forest, there are several things. So, four major components of your career. Number one, your personal growth. Most of the time, for most people, their personal growth takes place with their career growth. So, this is very much interrelated, and you need to ensure that whatever career you are going through and whatever stage you are accomplishing and having a reasonable level of personal growth. Number two, of course, career growth. The purpose of the career is to grow you, and you would grow in this uh, in the career. But the another thing which is very important, that you need to ensure that you are maintaining and growing and developing a marketable talent, not something which is more knowledge, but something which employers would value, which will pay you from the marketplace. And the fourth component is that it must align with your life vision. Actually, job is the roadmap to your life vision. So it's integrated. It's not about job or career only. It's about your life. Career is part of life, and job is part of career. That is how it's related. You cannot really ignore these things. So your career is your business, and you need to manage your career like a business. There's some people who really struggle with this idea, even struggle with having an entrepreneurial mindset. I tell them that, look, you are an entrepreneur. Think like an entrepreneur because you are in the business of selling your talent. And if that is the case, you are in the business of selling your talent, you have only two primary functions. Number one, keep developing your talent. Number one. And number two, keep marketing it. That's it. These are the two main primary functions for you. That is how you manage your business. So, unfortunately, in this business model, we have only one customer, and that's very risky. We can lose that customer anytime. So we have to have some potential customers in the pipeline. Your part of the marketing is not only keeping and making your current customer happy, but keeping an eye on the horizon. What could be coming as your next customer? Because it's clear that you will make at least 12 to 15 changes, which means you will have 12 to 15 customers in your lifetime, career lifetime. So you need to be very vigilant to monitor them and nurture them, identify them, nurture them, grow them, and at right point of time to make them your full-time customers. So personal growth is a fundamental human requirement. We all need growth, whatever level, whatever job, whatever occupation, we all need growth. So initially, as a child, we have a lot of physical growth that satisfied our inner desire of growth. And then once you become matured adult, you start your job, then usually we have growth in career or business. The problem happens when you are hitting the middle of your career and middle of your life, and you started to feel that there is a sort of saturation, plateau. You cannot keep growing at the same pace. And that becomes a problem for many people. So you need to some way the type of growth will keep changing, but at whatever stage of life you are, you need to ensure that you are having a feeling of growth. And you could learn a new language, you can learn some new skills. There are a lot of ways to really satisfy your inner requirement of growth, but there must be a sense of satisfaction about your personal growth. Career progress. So, in today's time, my advice is that plan for 3 to 4 years tenure for one position or one role, max five. So otherwise, you would get saturated very fast. And even for some people, changing the companies or jobs in 2 to 3 years is okay because the high flyers change the job more often than the average workers. So if you are a high flyer, it is very much probable that you would be attracted by employers who value your talent. And it is not always required that you grow in titles, but in responsibility is very important. So you need to ensure that you are having a growth in responsibility as well. So I see some people are saying that there are no slides visible or sound is breaking or sound there is no sound. Let me just double check if everything is working fine. Is few people who are not able to see slides or nobody is seeing slides? Just tell me in the comments, please. By the way, it's being broadcast at Facebook and YouTube as well. So might be you have some problem. Yeah, so it's working fine for many people. Yeah, okay. Okay. So if you are having individual problem, I would suggest that you could try another channel like Facebook or YouTube, which might be working better for you. Yeah. Okay. Let me get back to the message. Okay. So this is about the career progress. So you should have a career progress and always keep a benchmark with similar professionals, similar to your qualification and your credentials and your experience, where they are in their career journey and where you are, because that would be motivating as well as a good benchmark and measurement about the progress in your career growth. Now, everybody does not have control on their career growth fully. So in some cases, you have some setbacks, but it is your responsibility. How do you present your career in the past or for the future to the potential employer? And always keep in mind, try to ensure that you show a career trajectory which is showing a clear growth. And one of the area of challenge for many professionals is that somehow they lose a job, and of course take some time, and they find a job, but somehow there is a gap, and they have challenge to explain that gap. Now, as a professional, you are never idle. You are never out of job because you are a knowledge worker. You work with your brain, and your brain is still very fertile and very resourceful. So you can do any work which is valuable to you and others. So always, if you have a gap in your career, fill that up by showing that you were doing some training assignments or you were consulting and you were helping a group of friends with the startup. You could always do that and actually do it. Not only that, you fill that gap by showing on your resume, actually do it. Because when you don't have a job, you are always still available with your knowledge and your resources, so you should utilize that. And marketable talent. So how do you ensure that you always have marketable talent? Well, I used to say that spend at least 10% of your time learning new skills. That change today, it is at least 20%. If you are not spending 20% of your time on learning new skills and talents, you are risking your career. And be careful. Watching YouTube or spending time on Facebook is not learning new skills. Be very, very careful. Even with the skills you want to develop, be careful that you are not spending time on highly perishable skills. So your time is the only resource which really matters in the long term. As you will move in your life and your career, you will realize that there is more and more value of time and less value of money. So we are always struggle in the paradox of money and time. So use your time wisely and use your time with a high ROI on it. So we have a beautiful concept of opportunity cost. We learn very early in our accounting education journey. Just ensure that you are achieving the best value compared to opportunity cost. What is your opportunity cost? So one example, quick example, like Python. Many people used to ask me that should they learn Python? I said, okay, you can learn it, but what would be there in 1 year or 2 years in place of Python? We don't know. It would not last forever. This is exactly what happened. That ChatGPT was able to replace Python very quickly. Today, there are still people who make use of Python, but for a simple coding, you don't need Python. ChatGPT and other AI tools could do that very fast. So don't spend time on these type of skills, which will become useless in a short period of time. Look for the long-term, non-perishable skills, which would, once you learn, you will benefit for the rest of your life and career. So, what is your ultimate goal out of this career and life? Well, it's very simple. We all look for happiness in the long term. So, if you are not happy, look critically. What are you missing? It's very simple. There are just two things you need to make adjustment. If you're not happy, just increase your effort because probably you are not spending enough time or making enough effort to achieve what you want to achieve. Or maybe your goals are too ambitious. You are asking for too much. Lack of happiness is always because of either your efforts are not enough or your ambition is too high. If you make adjustment into the one of the two things or both the things, you will be you will feel much better. Okay, so everybody agrees that yes, learning is lifelong now. And based on that idea that I need to learn for the rest of my life, they keep learning through registering in trainings and attending courses and degree after degree and certification after certification, book after book, course after course. And it's only adding, piling up in their knowledge base. So that's one thing that it's not about knowledge only. I'll get back to you in a second about to expand that further. The other big confusion today uh, is getting better actually, but initially when the AI was introduced, many people got confused that what should I do? It's going to take my job. There would be nothing for me. But now I think after 2 years of ChatGPT and AI tools available at the public level, common level, where most of us are able to use it, we understand that there is a place for human skills, there's a place for artificial intelligence or the digital skills. So we clearly know what are the skills we need to use. Ultimately, we would be working in collaboration. It's a human versus AI collaboration. And AI would do their job, we have to do our job. The most important thing is to understand what are the skills we'll be using. I'll come back to this in a few minutes. And this slide basically shows you the digital brain and the biological brain, and we all understand, I think, that when it comes to the speed and memory and accuracy, it's about you cannot beat computer, you cannot beat technology. But when it comes to the creativity, intuition, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, soft skill, leadership skills, computers or robots are not yet ready to take our job fully. That is where the sweet spot happens for us to really develop our skills going forward. So it's not only about learning. There is a lot of skills we need to learn about unlearning because there is a capacity. We have a limited capacity where we could process our thoughts, our ideas. So while we are learning new skills, we need to keep unlearning or offloading those knowledge which are no more relevant. This is also a skill. So when you are on a spree of developing your knowledge, and look, I mean, if you look back at your life, first half of the life or major chunk of your life initially until the age of 20, 25, you were basically learning, you were developing your knowledge in anticipation of starting a career or a business. So we did that enough, and we are not short of knowledge. But when people start a journey in the sense of career or business, they struggle because in education, while we were learning for 20 years, we only required IQ, an intelligent mind to learn all those things. Most of our educational system is based on the criteria of memorizing. But when you start a journey in the business or career, you need critical skill. Here you need the people skill because you are supposed to work with people. And unfortunately, even today in our educational system, we don't have the opportunity to learn about emotional intelligence, about communication, about collaboration, about teamwork, all those skills which are in high demand in the business. Now, many people are God gifted, some people learn on themselves, but there is still not any structure available to provide us all those skills which will really take us through working with people for a 40, 45 years of career. So, in education, IQ was very relevant. In business and career, IQ is still relevant, but it is mainly EQ, our ability to work with other people, which not everybody really has a level of a level which is required to go through the career successfully. And many people, many people even today, they just don't care. They don't think that they have to really change the course or do anything. And it's mind-boggling that why can't they see the picture which we see most of us? But that's another reality. I hope you are not in that group. Otherwise, you would not be sitting in this webinar. So here is a model you need to look a little closely. So we have been, or I have been teaching in CFO Academy, and my flagship course is Strategic CFO program, and I learned a lot. We are going to start batch 18th, and every batch we started, I could tell you, I learned a few new things. And we changed a few things in the curriculum, in the design, in the format, and the structure of the program. So what you are seeing on the screen, this is a leadership model we have fine-tuned with 16, 17 batches, working with 40, 50 professionals, many of them CFOs, interactively, where we learned and we identified what works, what does not work. So this is a model as a gist of all those efforts from 2017 to 2024. I have created or I have nurtured or squeezed into a final shape. So what you see here, this model could be applicable to your entire life or career, but mainly career, C-suite level. If you are an aspirant of C-suite role, then this is for you. So this all starts with a knowledge base. You need knowledge base. Just look at the bottom, you need a knowledge base. And we get enough of it during our education. We are getting all knowledge. For 16, 18, 20 years, we are getting knowledge. We are no short of it. But then this knowledge has to pass through with a mindset. Mindset is a filter to your knowledge. It's an inner game. And as you grow in your life, you start to have more and more life experiences. Or in other words, what is a mindset? Mindset is the result of accumulation of your life experiences. Some people have good experiences, some people don't have good experiences. And whatever mindset today you have is a result of those experiences. Now, if you think that you don't have a good mindset, can you change it? Of course, you can always change it. But it is very important to understand that every piece of knowledge you have in your mind is going through that filter of your mindset. Two equally qualified chartered accountants look at a business situation and may have different opinion. Why? It's not that one is smarter, other is dumb. They have a different point of view. Their different point of view is based on their life experiences or their mindset. That is why we vary so much in our opinion, in our thoughts, in our judgment from person to person. So that's a basic structure you have where your all the knowledge go through a filter. And the next task is start to prepare for your interaction with other people. That's an essential part of business and career. That is not just learning yourself, but working with people. How do you work with people? First of all, based on your knowledge base, you should have some strategic thinking, some unique thoughts, some thoughts which are valued by your customers, right? That's one thing. You should also have, or you always have a personal brand. Whether you believe that you have worked or created your personal brand or not, you do have a personal brand. Because if you don't create a personal brand, people create a personal brand for you. And the third component is relationship networking. You have to, we are human. We are emotional beings. If you work with other people, you cannot continue working without having any emotions. There are always good and bad emotions. And relationship is about those emotions. When you have these, when you have your knowledge base and you have your developed mindset and you create or work on your personal brand and develop some relationship and generate some strategic thinking, you are ready for the most important task. What is that? Communicate. Communication. Your communication. Your communication is your window of opportunity. This is the only place, or this is the only way to connect with the world, which would open up the door of opportunities for you. If you stop here, you don't communicate, nothing happens. Everything else becomes irrelevant. So this is the ultimate end of your not end of your journey, but ultimate step you have to take to really materialize all of your dreams or effort or other struggles efforts you are doing to reach to a certain level in your career and business. And after that, whatever you get is not about your title or your salary or your level or your size of the house, size of car. It's all about influence. If you develop a good level of influence, you are successful. If you cannot influence people around you, you would struggle. That's the model, basically covers everything or the most relevant things. So see yourself that where you are in your career, and for each component, so I think there are 7 components, 2, 3, 5, 6, yeah, 7 components. For each component, make a critical evaluation. And if you cannot make, ask someone who knows you well that how am I doing in these areas, right? Now, so this is overwhelming for many people. Oh my God, I have already worked a lot in my life, in my career. Do I still need to do a lot of work? Yes, unfortunately. And what you are seeing on your screen, this is a slogan from the US Navy. Very inspiring. For some people, it's scary, but for most people, it's very inspiring. The only easy day was yesterday. Yes, folks, that is true. We are in an era where easy day was only yesterday. But look, the good news is that as a human being, you have the potential. You have an unlimited potential, but we only use that unlimited potential when we are pushed into it. When we face challenge, somehow you discover your hidden capabilities and you are able to make it most of the time. So it's a challenge, but I believe it's a major opportunities for us. That being alive in this era is opportunity which was not available to the previous generations. So what was the most important element or component of the 7 component I showed you as a leadership framework? Of course, communication. As I said, communication is so critical. If it happens, you could expect some results. If it doesn't happen, nothing happens. And every one of us is able to communicate, but it's depend upon the quality of communication. So communication is the bridge between ideas and execution. Degrees and knowledge are not enough. We have to have many skills for effective communication. So that is what we need to focus upon. And again, you could look around, you could see yourself, you will see some people, or I would say, look at the very successful people around you, very successful people in the sense like a CEO or a C-suite executives or successful business people. What one skill they have which really make them superior or make them a result of the success or success as a result, I would say. They all communicate and they all communicate very effectively. In the corporate environment, which is our main reference point, look at those senior executives. 80% of the time they are just speaking, communicating, talking, right? That is how important it is. If as a CEO, if you cannot speak or communicate, you cannot do your job. So interestingly, I identified this analogy. In logistics, they call it last mile delivery. So Amazon and FedEx and UPS, they spend a lot of time and focus uh, i- because of the importance of this concept of or idea in this their business. So if last mile delivery is not done properly, all the work done in the production process and logistics could be wasted. That is how important it is. Our communication is the last mile delivery for us. All of our education, all of our development, all of our struggle and experience and knowledge, if we cannot really communicate, it's all wasted. That is how important it is. Your communication is your last mile delivery. So in communication, it's a little because it's so important, it's also a little complex. We need to understand. Communication is not only about speaking, because that talent or skill or ability we develop very early at the age of 3 and 4 years old kid, as a 3 4 years old kid. We start speaking and we can communicate very well with our family members and loved ones. But as you move above, move through the life, and you reach to a very challenging environment in the business and career, you need a lot of skills. And even if you are a good communicator, you need to develop some very crucial skills like strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, storytelling, and influence. So your basic skill of communication needs to be enhanced by these influence, storytelling, emotional intelligence, and strategic thinking, because that really makes you superior and different from other people. It would differentiate yourself from other people if you could develop that skills. So, how do you learn these skills? Nobody is perfect. Everybody has to learn. How do you learn that skill? So, so these are called people skills. And the best way to learn people skill is to learn from people. You could read books, you could watch videos, you could take courses, but that would only take you through some of the frameworks and theory. If you really want to develop these skills at the practical level, you need to work practically with other people, hopefully who are superior or better than you in these skills. So, what we need to do is basically interact with those people. We could develop mastery, we could learn these skills to some extent. But if you are really aspiring to develop a level of mastery, you need to interact with people. That is the only way you learn people skills with people, working with people. So how do you find those people? That's a challenge. There has been a lot of talk about networking, not today or yesterday, but for a long period of time. And before social media came into existence, there were other different ways of networking. You can go to conference or events and meet people, very time consuming, very challenging for many people. And then we talked about the online networking with the existence of Facebook and LinkedIn, and we also experienced that. So what we need to do is not networking, but strategic network. I have 27,000 first level connections on LinkedIn. 27,000. Am I really very resourceful? Yeah, for some tasks. But let me admit that honestly, I don't know most of them, and probably they don't know me. But LinkedIn call them my first level connection, my friends. Facebook call it. But reality is that over a period of time, these large platforms have lost their original reason we joined them, like professional networking. Even LinkedIn, you can call it professional networking, but LinkedIn now has more than 1 billion members. More than 1 billion members. Do you need 1 billion people to do professional networking? Or Facebook have 2 billion members. You need 2 billion people to do social networking. Of course not. So these platforms have basically become the, I would say, advertising platforms, and people like you and me are being used as products because our presence there attract advertisers, and that is how they generate money or revenue or profit from these platforms, right? So how do we find strategic thinking? We don't need 1 billion people, honestly. We need few people like us. If we could connect them, we could achieve our objective much better. LinkedIn and Facebook have become a lot of noise and distraction in our life. So way to find your strategic network, but it's very close to you. All of you who are sitting on this call are basically ideal members for such a strategic network. And you could find the potential mentors among those people. If you make a little effort to find them, you could identify them. And by the way, good news is they are also willing to connect with you. You want to connect with them, and they are willing to connect with you. So how? So this is about the LinkedIn and Facebook. I already covered that. So market is converting into niche communities, and it's not new. People already realized several years ago that these large platforms are not going to work. So there are niche communities which are basically not millions of people, but few thousand people who are all related to certain field, certain specialty, and they get together in the form of a community and they try to help other, which is very powerful. So it's small, trusted networks. One major issue we are facing nowadays is lack of trust on the media, on the online platform, because there is so many people, and there is so much lack of transparency that even good people like us are difficult to be visible by the people who are looking for us. So these niche communities are basically built up on the element of trust and transparency. So they foster deeper and authentic connections, and they are basically similar people. So, like I would say, corporate professional is our profile, and we could get more value from other corporate professionals if we find them on the same place. So Mecca, basically, not today. We started with the Mecca journey in 2012, and then it evolved. Of course, from 2013, 14, I started the CFO Academy. So I have more exposure to the lack of skills and what really makes a difference into successful professionals and others who struggle. So uh, Mecca, over a period of time, I would say since 2012 to 2024, 12 years, it has emerged and developed into a community. That was not the intention, but once I started the CFO program batches, those people did not leave. Even when the program ended, those people did not leave. And I created the platform to keep the groups working on the social media so they could keep interacting with them. And that has emerged into a very close community with a similar mindset, similar profile, similar purpose. So alumni group of Mecca CFA program is now between 600 and 700 professionals. These 600, 700 professionals are the people or professionals who have gone through a 12-month program. It's a very intensive program, 12-month program. So imagine that these people have a similar mindset. They understand your pain point. They want to help you. And probably you want to get their expertise and their help to support you in your challenges, right? So that is how the Makkah has emerged into a niche community. And by the way, there are many other niche communities which, if you search, you could find many examples of that. So Mecca is currently close to 50,000 professionals. I said 600 and 700 alumni, but all the people around the world who are mainly finance professionals who follow us, they are around 50,000. That's a good number. That's a good number for a niche platform, and we don't need millions of members for that part. So we are already very close to that level, which is an ideal or very practical number for us to really make benefit from each other. So, how if you want to join Mecca community, you could join? There are different entry level or different options. One is our flagship program, like a strategic CEO program. This is a 12-month program, and we are starting batch 18 from January 4th. But this is not for everyone. As I said, this is a very intensive program, and many people cannot really afford or sustain the level of intensity required for this program. So I last year I created a CFO coaching club, and CFO coaching club is basically a free platform. There is no fee, but there are finance professionals, mid-level, mid-career, or even CFO level finance professionals who could just get on the platform and do the networking and coaching. There are already several people that are doing free coaching. You can do those things. Not that intense, but it still keep you busy with the networking. And the third thing, we very frequently do the Makkah events. So the next two events coming in this December, we have a one big CFO summit in Dubai on 7 December, and the other is in Riyadh the following week, 15 December. So if you just want to really have a flavor, because these are the real people you want to develop in your network. If you could come to just one day event in Riyadh or Dubai, you will get that flavor. And I guarantee that you would leave those events at least with five potential contacts of senior people who will become your lifelong colleagues in your professional journey. So anyway, so there are multiple opportunities to join Mecca community, and many of you are already part of the community. What I want to show you, our focus is not really have an accumulation of degrees and certificates and all those things. People who want to consider or join the CFO program, they still ask me, what certificate will I get, or whether certificate is authenticated or not. And I said, look, if you are looking for certificates, this is not the right place for you. You can go to Harvard, get their name by paying $40,000 fee. But here we develop you, we change you, we create an interest, we increase your intrinsic value. We change you from a currency note to a gold coin. Currency note will change their stamp. If you're a CFO, you have a lot of value, you lose your job and you lose your value. We create gold coins, intrinsic value. There is stamp or no stamp, you have an intrinsic value. You can only get intrinsic value by developing these skills we are talking about. And you don't need to really demonstrate or present your certificate. If you speak, that that is the value, that is the proof that you have those intrinsic skill and value. So we, as a next phase of making progress in our objectives, next phase or next idea for CFO coaching club is the mastermind group. We are starting with a mastermind group, and I promised that I would show you details about the mastermind program we are starting. But first, I think probably you may have heard the name mastermind, but not everyone is fully aware what mastermind is. So let me read it for you. A couple of paras here, which would explain uh, in a very meaningful manner what mastermind is. So, mastermind participants act as a catalyst for growth, devil's advocate, and support of colleagues. The concept of mastermind group was formally introduced. Let me see if this is a second. Sorry. Uh, yeah, now I'm on the right slide. This is the first slide. So, what is a mastermind group? Mastermind group, there is a synergy of energy, commitment, and excitement that participants bring to mastermind group. The beauty of mastermind group is that participants raise the bar by challenging each other to create and implement goals, brainstorm ideas, and support each other with total honesty, respect, and compassion. Mastermind participants act as a catalyst for growth, devil's advocate, and support of colleagues. The concept of the mastermind group was formally introduced by Napoleon Hill in the early 1900s in his timeless classic book, Think and Grow Rich. He wrote about the mastermind principles as the coordination of knowledge and effort of two or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. He continues, no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, tangible force which may be linked to a third mind. In mastermind group, the agenda belongs to the group and each person's participation is key. Your peers give you feedback, help you brainstorm new possibilities, and set up accountability structures that keep you focused and on track. You will create a community of supportive colleagues who will brainstorm together To move the group to a new height, you will gain tremendous insights which can improve your business and personal life. And your mastermind group is like having an objective board of directors. That's what a mastermind group is. I think that explains to those who are not familiar. It's a very powerful group with certain functionality which creates significant results for individuals. So, why do we want to do it? Because the seven skills or seven components we need to learn to create an intrinsic value is only possible through the interaction with the people, right people. So we have the right people here. We need to create a structure where you could regularly, with consistency, interact with them and learn those skills. How would it work? So make a mastermind objective. The program we are starting, what are the objectives? Rapid development of marketable leadership skills. That's a broad objective, right? Rapid development of marketable leadership skills. That includes all these seven. But to start with, we want to focus on communication. So our sub goal, at least to start with, is mastery level in communication. And not only communication, we want to enhance this communication through storytelling, emotional intelligence, influence, and strategic thinking. What would be the structure of this mastermind group? So in CFO Coaching Club, there are already 1,500 members already joined. 1,500. That's a good number. Now there are different type of people, but what is the possibility or probability that among those 1,500 people you could find 10, 20, maybe 25 people what you are looking for? Absolutely, absolutely. And that is why we are creating this structure. So we will form groups of 8 to 10 participants based on a local chapter. If you are in Dubai or Riyadh, you will have another 8, 10 people in your group from the same place. You will meet 2 times a month online for 60 minutes. We want to make it sustainable. It's not about really doing something initially and then forgetting or getting tired. It is something light and easily doable, which you will do with a consistency. That's very important. So this group will meet 2 times a month, fortnightly, every other week, for 60 minutes online. Not a big deal. The group may decide to meet locally in some local place, restaurants, cafeteria, in person for 90 minutes once every 2 months. So after 3 meetings, if you think that this is the time for you to meet in person, you can, with the agreement of other group members, you can decide that and meet locally, but not every time, just after 3, 4 meetings. Every meeting is facilitated by a new member. So every person in this group of 8 to 10 will have the opportunity to practice their leadership skills. It's leadership, meeting those people, running a meeting, and you may be a not CFO level, but maybe somewhere in the mid level, and there could be a CFO, one or two CFO in the group, and then you will basically lead them. That's a huge opportunity. What you want to do this in the 60 or 90 minutes, you want to speak, you want to argue, debate, negotiate, challenge, resolve conflicts and similar things by interacting, by active interacting in the group setting on camera, as if you're sitting around a table and you're talking to a highly professional group of colleagues from your work or from other places, business colleagues, and you will continue to do that. So attending each session is mandatory. We only want to admit people who are serious, who are consistent. So it would be mandatory. Participants will rotate the role of leader and facilitator. So everybody would have a chance after 7, 8 weeks to really lead the session and practice it. It may not be your comfort zone, but this is what you need to do to develop these skills. Topic of discussions during those meetings will be limited to career, leadership, office politics, work-life balance, and maybe a couple of other related topics. Members are encouraged to bring their real life issues. You have a problem in your career, you have a office politics issue, bring those real things to the discussion and with an intention to explore solutions with the help of them. Look, this is a board of directors. This is your personal board of directors of 10 people who are willing to help you with their experience, background, and knowledge. So bring real issues and you will get best advice from the board of directors with no cost to you. And all discussions in these groups will remain strictly confidential to the up to the members. Nothing would leak outside, and there would be no recordings. It would be active discussion, but no recordings. Everybody could talk comfortably about their issues, or they could offer their advice to other people who are looking a solution to those issues. So with this structure, and I'm expecting that places like Dubai and Riyadh, which are very crowded with our members, probably you have 8 to 10 groups running there. And some places like Toronto, where there are not many people, we could start some new groups by engaging more people into it. So it would be a lot of work. And to ensure consistency and professionalism, it would incur, we would spend some cost, incur some cost. So there would be a nominal fee for this. It would really be nominal. That's why I wanted to mention. But that fee would cover the administrative cost. But also, very importantly, we want to limit access to only seriously committed professionals. I've done a lot of free programs. You have attended a lot of free programs, and I've done very expensive programs, and you probably have attended expensive programs. Free is not a good idea. There should be something reasonable, affordable, justify the effort, and only those things are. I could tell you, my best students are those who have paid high fees, high program fees, and they are. So there is a psychology work with the small fee or big fee, whatever you pay. Once you pay even $1, you want to seek a return on investment, right? You become a lot bit more serious and committed. So I don't know what that amount would be, but would definitely be less than $20 a month. And I will let you know. So the reason I have not decided that amount, because we don't know how many people are going to join. So I would let you show your interest, and then based on the number of people, we will tell you what could be the monthly fee, which would be less than $20 a month. So you can submit your interest by joining. So in the CFO Coaching Club Mighty Networks platform, there is already a new space I have created today, which is called Mecca Mastermind. If you are already a member of the CFO Coaching Club, you can just join it. Simply go there and just join that space, Mastermind, and you will become a member there, and that is how I will know that you are interested in it. So if all of you do that, maybe in a couple of days, we will know how many people are interested, and then we'll take it to the next stage. You will be notified maximum 1 week. We'll notify how many members are there, how many groups do we have in different cities. And the program will start from January. First week of January, we'll start rolling it out, actually. So before you start, if you show your interest and we finally commit, then before you start this journey in January, I will try to do a few training sessions for all the members to explain how should it work. Because mastermind is an idea. The real benefit, real success is how do you do it. And we want to ensure that whoever joins, they do it right, so they get the benefit and the result and the success very quickly back to help their career and their business. So if you are not yet a member of CFO Coaching Club, you can join that. So once first you have to join the club. If you're not there, just this link which you see at the bottom of the slide, https://cfo-club.mn.co/invite. I will also forward you this link after this session uh, at my LinkedIn profile, where you could just pick it up and just send your request for joining CFO Coaching Club. We approve that request in 24 hours. And once you become a member of the CFO Coaching Club, you can join that Mecca Mastermind space, which will tell us that you are interested in this, and then we'll get back to you with the approval, and then we could join the journey together towards this mastermind. Folks, that's I all I have for today's session. I hope this was helpful and useful to most of you. It is not only ideas. After spending so much time in the corporate trainings and the working with executives and professionals like you, I really want to see results. I'm very much results. If you join my CFO program and you don't really achieve anything or you don't develop skills which will help you in your career or business, it is my failure. It is my failure. We don't have that many examples, but I take it very seriously that whatever we do, time is the most precious resource. Even if I offer something free to you, it has to have value because you are paying. So with that, with that commitment, I promise that I will do my best to make this new initiative very, very successful. And I'm very much confident that this would go very well because we already have there are 1,500 members in the CCC, as we call it, and there are many, many committed people who really want to do something serious, not only for themselves but for all other colleagues. And with those support, I'm sure we would do something remarkable, uh, exemplary for other communities and other people to copy and to get benefit. So, with that thought, I would like to thank you very much. If there are any questions you have left, I will try to come back to you through messages or emails. But feel free. If you have more questions, just drop me somewhere on the LinkedIn, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Everyone, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time on this the start of the weekend, and I will see you soon. Thank you, and bye now.